Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nastapраyesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, titled The Status Quo. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narantavo Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, titled The Status Quo, Chapter 2, Remembrance of Lord Krishna. Swantam Asamyatisyastrayadisha Swarajya Lakshmi Apta Samasta Kama Balim Harabdis Chiralokapalai Kirita Koteditya Pada Pitha. Reading again. Swayam Tvasamyati Sasya Trayadisha Swarajya Lakshmi Apasamasta Kama Balim Haradi Chiralokapalai Kirita Kuteditya Pada Pitha. Word by word translation. Swayam, himself. Tu, but. Asamya, unique. Atisaya, greater. Triyadisa, Lord of the three. Swarajya, independent supremacy. Lakshmi, fortune. Apta, achieved. Samasta Kama, all desires. Balim, worshipping paraphernalia. Haradhi, offered by. Chiraloka Palai, by the eternal maintenance of the order of creation. Kirita Kotaya, millions of helmets. Idita Padapita, feet honored by prayers. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Krishna is the Lord of all kind of threes and is independently supreme by achievement of all kind of fortune. He is worshipped by the eternal maintainers of the creation, who offer him the paraphernalia of worship by touching the millions of helmets to his feet. Purport by His Divine Grace. Lord Sri Krishna is so mild and merciful as described in the above verses, and yet he is the Lord of all kind of threes. He is the supreme Lord of the three worlds, the three qualities of material nature, and the three Purushas, Karnadakshay, Garvadakshay, and Kshiradakshay Vishnu. There are innumerable universes, and in each and every universe there are different manifestations of Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra. Beside that, there is the Seshamurti who bears all the universes on his hoods. And Lord Krishna is the Lord of all of them. As the incarnation of Manu, he is the original source of all Manus in innumerable universes. Each universe has manifestations of 504,000 Manus. He is the Lord of the three principal potencies, namely Chit Sakti, Maya Sakti, and Tatat Sakti. And he is the complete master of 6 kinds of fortune: wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. There is none who can excel him in any matter of enjoyment. And certainly there is no one greater than him. No one is equal to or greater than him. It is the duty of everyone, whoever and wherever one may be, to surrender completely unto him. It is not wonderful, therefore, that all the transcendental controllers surrender to him and make all offerings of worship. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamaiham Dadasti Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapadakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakha Vitamscha. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वर वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमो. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak and to give a listen to this wonderful verse where Uddhav ji is remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here Uddhav ji is explaining about three essential qualities or three essential aspects. The first is he is the Lord of the threes, Triyadhisha. He is the Lord of threes. There are many threes which can be attributed to Lord Krishna. And then he is also mentioning that Lord Krishna is so mild and merciful. And then he is explaining how so many helmets or so many heads are bowing down to him with awe and reverence. And these are some of the three aspects we're going to touch upon today in this very powerful verse, very complementing the time we are in with the celebrations in sight. So here, Uddhav ji is mentioning Krishna is mild and merciful. And we all have heard Krishna is Bhaktavatsala. He is very dear to his devotees. But here, he is also mentioned that Krishna is Kripana Vatsala. Kripana are the people who are very miserly. They keep to themselves and they would like to enjoy by themselves. They're a bit short-sighted in the distribution of different goods, and the goods are not necessarily material goods, but in all kinds of aspects they are very miserly and they keep to themselves. So in Prahlad Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 7 chapter 9 verse 16 is saying Krishna is Kripana Vatsala. Krishna is very dear to the fallen souls. And this is a very nice verse we can all sing. But here Prahlad Maharaj is saying Krishna is very dear to the fallen souls. And if Krishna is not merciful to me, as Prahlad Maharaj is saying, then how can I overcome this material world? And he's so nicely saying Krishna is Kripana Vatsala. As we know, Brahmanas, Brahma Janati Brahmana is Brahmana, and then there is a different kind of people who are Kripanas. So Krishna is dear to Kripanas even. So Brahma Janati Brahmana and Kripana is the people who do not give anything, and Krishna is very dear to them as well. And Krishna is Triyadhisha. He is the Lord of all the threes. So we'll go over all the threes where Krishna is the supreme, all the threes. And then Uddhav ji is mentioning about Kiritakutta. There are millions of helmets who are bowing down to him. So, as we know, Krishna has three energies, which Prabhupada is explaining in his purport. The Antaranga Sakti, the internal potency, the Bahiranga Sakti, the external energy, and the Tatastha Sakti, which are basically the marginal energy, who are essentially us, the Jivatmas. And again, this internal energy of the Lord is divided into once again threes. Second time, this division of three is coming. He's the Lord of all the threes. So the Antaranga Sakti, the internal potency, is divided, or rather it comprises of Sambit Sakti, Sandhini Sakti, Ladini Sakti. Sambit Sakti is the potency of knowledge, and the Sandhini Sakti is the potency for existence or existential nature, and Ladini Sakti is the potency for deriving pleasure. So, three energies, internal energy divided into once again three energies. So, Krishna here is the Lord of all kind of threes. Then there are three qualities of material nature: goodness, passion, ignorance. Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. So, when we discuss these qualities, there is a very conflicting understanding with many Mayavadi philosophers and devotees. There is an understanding that the impersonal Brahman, when it touches ignorance, the lowest of the three qualities, it transforms into matter or jada. And then when the impersonal Brahman touches the mode of passion, it becomes jiva or chetanatma. And when the impersonal Brahman touches the mode of goodness, it becomes Vasudev. And we merge in that. But Krishna is beyond this. So these are the three modes. These are the three gunas. There is another name from Krishna which is Trigunatit. Krishna, Triguna is the three modes which you see here: goodness, passion, ignorance. And Krishna is referred as Trigunatit. That means he is beyond these three gunas. Atit means beyond. Atit means past, right? So Trigunatit means he is beyond these three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. That's why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 7.12 explains, Echaiva sattvika bhava rajasas tamasa chaye matta eveti tan vidhi natvam aham tesu temai. So he is the creator of all these modes, but he is beyond this. And not many people can understand him, because when they think about these three modes, they compare those three modes with the matter, Jiva and Vasudev, as we discussed. But Krishna is saying he is beyond all these modes. So when a spider creates a spider web, he doesn't get entangled into the spider web, right? The other people get entangled, other insects, other things. But the spider who creates the web, he is beyond the web. He doesn't get entangled. Likewise, Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has created these three gunas, and he is beyond these three gunas. He doesn't get entangled. It's people like us, we get entangled. Someday in the morning when we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we are in a mode of goodness. As the day progresses, we have sense of passion, and then as we feel sleepy and we get tired, then the ignorance sends it. So we are controlled by this. But Krishna, like the spider, is beyond the spider web. He creates the spider web, but he's beyond that. Krishna is exactly like that. He's beyond these three modes. And Krishna is also referred as the Trilokya Adhipati Prabhu. The three lokas, the upper planets, the heavenly planets, the middle planets like the Martya Loka, the earth, and the lower planets, the hellish planets or Patal Loka. He is beyond all this. We are in Martya Loka right now, and based on our prior credits, our karma, we may transcend into different lokas, and there are great description. But Krishna is the Trilokya Adhipati Prabhu. He is beyond the three planets. So here the understanding has to be with, in comparison to Mr. Frog. So when a frog from an ocean comes to a frog in the well, the frog in the well thinks he's a frog and he is like me, and I can do whatever I want with him, and he's exactly like frog. But for the frog in the well, he's very limited in his understanding because he confines himself with the well. But the frog from the ocean has seen many things, has maneuvered many sharks. And that's why when Krishna lands himself as a simple person, as Ramji or Krishnaji in various different, um, uh, you know, expansions or avatars, people mistake that as he is one like us, he may be pretty much like us. So we are the same as Krishna, and Krishna is the same as us. He is a human being, we are a human being. But we cannot comprehend that the person who has come from a different planet and he's there since millions and billions of years ago can have the same attribute as us. It's very incomprehensible. And that's why a person who comes from a different place, we cannot just like that say he is exactly like us. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead here exhibits, such qualities which are beyond the comprehension, and because of our sheer envy or the lack of knowledge, we tend to believe he is one among us, but he is not. And Prabhupada explains, he is the creator of all the Purushas. The three Purushas, the first expansion we discussed with the creation of this universe in second canto when we started sometime in June, July, or whether we continued in June, July. That the first expansion is Balram, and then there are quadruple expansion, and to get to the end. So there are three Vishnus, the three Purushas. The Mahavishnu or Karandokshay Vishnu is the creator of the universe. Then the second Vishnu is the Garbhodakshay Vishnu. He enters, after creating the universe, he enters into each of these universes. And then the third Vishnu is the Kshirodakshay Vishnu. He is the super soul of every living beings, which is in the hearts of us. So the three Purushas, which Prabhupada is explaining, are the Karandokshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, the creator of the universe, and this Garbhodakshay Vishnu enters every universe, and Kshirodakshay Vishnu, the super soul of every living being. So the three Vishnus, the three Purushas, are giving shelter to all of us. But Krishna is giving shelter to these three Purushas. So Krishna is the shelter of shelters. So he is giving shelter to all the shelters, all the underlying three Vishnus. And the three attributes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Satchit Anand, right? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purna Purushottam Krishna, is eternal, he is full of knowledge, no one knows more than him, and he is full of bliss. He has the three potencies, Sat, Chit, Anand, and that's another threes. So, in that simple verse, Uddhavji has fully packed all the power in explaining about the Supreme Personality of Godhead as to how deep it can be with the three potencies of Sat, Chit, Anand. And then there is a underlying understanding which needs to be clarified, but people refer to the Trinity, the Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. And the creator of Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara is no one other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Another three to consider. So then we go to the offering of the helmets example, and there is a very vivid description of how the demigods, after Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill at the age of 7, lifted it for 7 days and 7 nights with the pinky, and then after 7 days, when the rain disappeared, Krishna nicely kept the Govardhan hill from his pinky aside. And when Krishna kept the Govardhan hill aside, Govardhan came, and in the hill he made a seat for himself, as you can see here. And all the demigods, Brahma, Shiva, Parvati, Ganesha, Kartik, Indra, Chatuskumaras, Saptarshis, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Apsaras, Varunas, they all came. Varunas came with a white umbrella which was bejeweled in the corners. And then Indra came, and the Shurabhi cow came, Airavat came, as you can see, and um, and at the time Vayu came with Chamara, and the Gada of Kumudiki came bejeweled around him, and the Sudarshan Chakra, expanded it and made it into a umbrella. Garuda ji came and made a nice umbrella. Everybody came to congratulate Krishna after the 7 days and 7 nights of holding the Govardhan hill in his pinky. And here you see Indra is bowing down with his helmet, and there are many demigods who were bowing down, and there was Arati. There was Arati Karena Brahma. Then Brahmaji did Arati to Krishna. And this is explained very nicely in the Ananda Vrindavan Champu by Srila Kavikarnapur. This amazing offering of the mukutas, the helmets, bowing down, as Uddhavji is explaining, happened in this pastime where everybody were there, and apsaras, from the upper heavenly planets used to sing, glorifying the Lord. And it is explained, and Airavat is doing a Abhishek, and Surabhi cow was there. It was a grand event. So when Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill, the Vrajavasis, they didn't think that this kid is 7 years old, and they didn't had any lack of confidence that Krishna will shake the Govardhan hill and we all will get crushed under it. They had complete faith in Krishna, and that surrender, because of that surrender, Krishna lifted to basically save the honor of the Vrajavasis and Govardhan. And finally, there are many references to how Indra comes, and ask for excuse for his, mistakes. And there are some, so Krishna, at that time, Krishna mentions that we should never get covered by our wealth and any of these material things. Because of that, often we do not recognize the importance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is where in this material world it is very difficult to comprehend these details, which is why people, instead of really focusing on the origin of theirs from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is so powerful in all these threes, we spend our time in doing all the mundane things and do not care. So all the things in this world, whether it's the mountains or the forest having nice herbs, fruits, or the rivers with so many good things, they are all meant for the pleasure of the Supreme, and this was not understood by Indra. And finally, when Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill and kept it aside, everyone came to congratulate him, and we have an opportunity to do that 2 days later. And then there is also a reference to in this verse, Krishna is so mild and merciful, right? So Krishna is so powerful. He's full of this threes. He's Trigunatit. He's controlling he's giving shelter to all the Vishnus he has created, and still he's so mild and he's so merciful. So a person who can scare everyone out, how can he be scared of his mother? So it's very it's inconceivable as to how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can lift the Govardhan hill, can exhibit the pastime of being scared of his mother. And that pastime happened on the day of Diwali, which is tomorrow. So in this verse, if you see, it has been packed with all the things needed. So Krishna is beyond all this. He's the master of all the threes. And also, Prabhupada says, Lord Krishna is so mild and merciful. It's very difficult to conceive Krishna, because at the same time he is exhibiting all these wonderful pastimes where he is scared of his mother. And that sweet pastime, the Dama Bandhana Lila, happened tomorrow, where he's so mildly trying to get tired. The Dama is the rope, and Udara is the waist. So Damodara is being bound by the love of his mother's love, and that pastime of so mild and merciful is exhibited tomorrow, the day before the lifting of Govardhan Hill. So Krishna exhibited this when Nanda Baba was in Gokul Mahavan, where they stayed for 3 years and 4 months. So it happened around 3 years time, and the lifting of Govardhan Hill, which happened the day after in terms of the days, but it happened when Krishna was 7 years old. It happened, for us it's two days later. So those things ties us to this wonderful verse where Krishna is so powerful, and but he gives that element of love to his devotees through his pastimes, and he's full of energy. He's the source of all the energies, and there. So we have, when you think about Krishna, he is not controlled by time, but we are controlled by time, actually, which Prabhupada is alluding to that in the purport where he talks about Manus, because we are controlled by time, and 50, 60, 70 years we become old, and then we are so temporary. But beyond us, there is that element where Brahmaji is there, the Manus are there, the Kumaras and Maharshis are there, then the Narayan is there, then and all this countings turning to millions of years, because one Manu is 71 millennium and one Brahma's day is 14 Manus. So if you multiply, it turns to Sahasra Yuga Paryanta. So that means these scriptural references make us clear about all these aspects which binds us in this material universe, and how small we are, but in the context of how much little riches we may have, we think we have everything. And that is where there is this, when a husband earns the money and gets home, he thinks he's taking care of the family, and when he gives the money, the wife thinks he is the foreign minister of the family, and the kids thinks, I'm so loved by both my parents. When I say something, both my parents come together. But this is so limited, because all this benefits, the riches are there for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Uddhavji is saying. And this one more little thing is, this is the Golaka chart. We are in here, and then this is the Brahmajyoti, and then there's this Vaikuntha or Haridham, where Lakshmi Narayan is there, and then there is Golok Vrindavan, where Radha Krishna is there, which is here. So the difference between Vaikuntha and Golok Vrindavan, which is leading to this verse, which was referred in the last verse, is here. So this is where Lakshmi Narayan says Lakshmi cannot enter into the Golok Vrindavan. So the difference, so in the Golok chart, it is very nicely explained. So we are here in the Devi Dham, then Mahesh Dham, then Vaikuntha, then the uppermost planetary system is the Golok Vrindavan. So with that, I'd like to end here. I wanted to speak a lot more, but because of the time, but this is such a powerful verse, we can go on and discuss the Lord of all the threes. So with that, I'd like to end here. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to listen. And Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.